everybody, and welcome to the 79th Annual Father of the Year Awards. I'm NBC4 New York's Dave Price, and tonight we're going to celebrate some truly inspirational dads. You know, we're all coming out of an unprecedented year of challenges, and if anything, we've been reminded of how important family is and how significant the guidance and connection of a positive father figure can be in times of stress. So we're thrilled to honor some truly wonderful fathers this evening who all have an incredible story to tell. Tonight, you'll learn how Blake Krieger, the head of a $2.5 billion a year company, is able to balance work and family life, and how rock and roll fits into the equation. Today's show host and my NBC friend and colleague, Craig Melvin, opens up about his difficult upbringing with his dad and the emotional journey they both took to reconciliation. You don't want to miss the surprising and powerful pandemic project country superstar Brad Paisley and his family began. And we honor Pfizer CEO Dr. Albert Bourla and his team. They give us a rare look inside their company as they worked in the last year to literally save millions of lives. Plus, we'll reveal this year's all-star dad. You'll see why it was his daughter's emotional letter that made it clear he is the best choice for our 2021 all-star dad. All that, plus we've got a special performance in store to honor all dads out there today. That's coming up. And we're not only celebrating great dads, we're doing it for a good cause. All the proceeds from this event will go to Save the Children and their U.S. programs. Now, you can also help by texting Donate1 to 243725. That's 243725. And your donations will make a difference in the lives of children and their families struggling through this pandemic. With that said and done, now let's get started. One of the great talents of dads across America is the perfection of the dad joke. And we are experts at a bad pun, a corny turn of phrase, a groan-worthy punchline. For example, why is our Father of the Year award the choice for dentists? There's no plaque. Cue the laughter. And in times of great stress, all kidding aside, perhaps the dad joke is needed more than ever to break the tension. So this year, the Father of the Year award celebrates the dad joke. And here are just a few.
When does a joke become a dad joke? When it becomes apparent.
My boss, she always laughs at my jokes. At work, she said I was so funny. Ever since we're working on Zoom during the pandemic, she never laughs. So I'm like, what's up? She said, Frank, your jokes aren't remotely funny.
Hey everybody! Do you know where Daddy tells all of his jokes? And his database.
I'm going to be telling a dad joke, but I'm not a real dad. So I guess that makes me a faux pas.
All right, I got one more for you. What gift should you give a barber hosting a charity event? A fundraiser. Yeah. I don't know whether to laugh or to cry. That is the power of a dad joke, and we're going to have more dad jokes later. I know you're begging for them. Now it's time to introduce our first Father of the Year. You see him every day on NBC's Today Show, but today, Craig Melvin opens up like never before about his family, his complicated relationship with his father, and the incredible path they all took to love and reconciliation. For over a decade, he's been a trusted source on NBC.
During the campaign, you pledged to reunite hundreds of children.
For the last 3 years, as host of the third hour of the Today Show.
Your dad's gonna have to fix this eye, but you look a little like the Joker.
His series, Dad's Got This, features dads across the country who are making a difference in their kids' lives.
My kids are they're my heart.
Off-screen, he has 2 young children with his sportscaster wife, Lindsay, who since the pandemic has embraced the cornball dad joke as her own, releasing a cascade of punny one-liners over the last year. This May, the family was featured on the cover of Parents magazine.
Check it out, Craig Melvin and his adorable family on the cover of Parents magazine. This is
Best
an incredible, no, with bar none. Sorry, you win the award of Best Family.
And Craig's just released his new book, Pops, Learning to be a Son and Father. A raw look at his difficult relationship with his own father, Lawrence, a struggling alcoholic through Craig's upbringing. A story that led to transformation and redemption, as Melvin is now a father himself, and his father has found sobriety. Men don't often talk about what we do as fathers, Craig says, but dads need to be celebrated. A sentiment he echoed recently on the Today Show, when his parents surprised him on his birthday.
If I achieved anything in my life, it's because of the two people who are sitting in this little box here.
Craig Melvin, Father of the Year. I mean, you've won awards, but nothing like this.
I got to be honest with you, Dave. I am just as incredulous as you. Clearly there were not a lot of dads nominated. Clearly. No, I am honored and humbled, my man. This is a big deal for me.
Craig, it's interesting, that you get this award after you write a book like you did. And from that standpoint, it must be particularly meaningful as well. Tell me a little bit about the book and your journey to fatherhood.
So the book is called Pops. That's what I call my dad. And it is, among other things, it's a love letter to him. But it is also an exploration of our relationship. My dad struggled mightily with addiction for most of his life and nearly all of my life. And growing up, that took a toll. It took a toll on me, it took a toll on our family. But I did not understand what it was then. And I didn't fully appreciate how it had affected me until I was older. And I started, talking to a therapist. But now, as you know, we have come to understand addiction better as a society. And so the book is about coming to understand what my father was dealing with. It's about, not to give away too much, but it's about how he was able to turn his life around, and it's a book about redemption.
The cliche is that you can't figure out where you're going unless you know where you've been. And it sounds like you've done a really good job looking back at that path to the present. How's that affected how you are as a father?
That's a good question. And one of the things that I realized while I was writing this book is some of the struggles that I had. They really shaped and molded me in ways that I didn't fully appreciate until the last few years. When you overcome something, you become resilient. And one of the things that is as strange as this may sound, Dave, but one of the worries that I have now is I am rearing children who may not be as resilient because they really don't have to overcome anything, because we've taken all of the obstacles and we've removed them. And it obviously comes from a place of love. But I worry that my kids are going to be soft, Dave, Brett. And that's one of the things I realized writing the book.
You've got an interesting home in that you've got a wife, as we approach Father's Day, who's made somewhat of an active hobby of the dad joke. Tell me a little bit about it, how all of this started with Lindsay, about these corny dad kind of jokes.
Well, it's that's a great way to describe it. Yes, my wife is the dad joke teller in the family. At the beginning of the remote learning that we were all forced to endure, she, like a lot of moms, she was having a hard time getting the kids to like focus and start the day and stay engaged. And one morning she decided that she would tell a joke. Or it started with 3 jokes. She would tell 3 jokes and then they would get into the day. And the kids loved it. Like they basically went to school in the morning to hear mommy tell the jokes. And then they would stay for the reading of the math and whatever else. Jokes. And one day she was like, she wrote it down to help Dell with his writing and reading. She wrote the joke down and he read the joke and then she turned it over and he read the answer. And they're like, it's not funny. And the first joke I remember, it was, why was 6 afraid of 7? Because 7 ate 9. That was the first joke. Exactly. And she decides to post it. And I think because at the beginning of the pandemic, parents were so desperate for content, they shared the joke with their kids and it just became a thing.
I wish you congratulations, as my people say, a hearty mazel tov. And I hope this award has a special place in your home, and that you have quick recall to remind your kids for the rest of their days in that house that you were the father of the year.
They'll never hear the end of it. I appreciate you, my friend. Thank you, Dave Price.
Thank you so much, Craig. And as I mentioned, the proceeds from today's show go to Save the Children and their U.S. programs. And those funds have a huge impact, especially now. And to show you how, here's the CEO of Save the Children Action Network, Mark Shriver.
Thanks so much, Dave. I am still sore at you. I don't understand why you're the MC this year and I'm not. Everybody says you're funnier than me. I don't think that's right. I'm going to get you next year. But thanks for having us, Dave, and thank you for letting me say a few words about Save the Children's work here in America. We could not be doing the work we're doing without the support of the Father's Day and the Mother's Day Council as well. It's that simple. Before the pandemic hit, 1 in 7 kids in America was going to bed hungry, and that number jumped up to 1 in 5. Save the Children sprung into action to change that. We're working to fill the bellies and fill the minds of kids all across rural America. We started pop-up pantries. We worked with schools to deliver food and educational supplies all across America. And we couldn't be doing this work without the support of all of you. This summer, we're running a summer boost camp to make sure that kids over the course of the summer are getting those educational resources and getting the food so that they're entering kindergarten, 1st and 2nd and 3rd grade, ready to learn. We're running 100 Days of Reading, which is a program to instill the importance of reading with all of our families all across the country. And we couldn't be doing this work, again, without the support of all of you. So to say thank you is completely inadequate, but please know that on behalf of 750,000 kids and their families, all of us at Save the Children are so grateful. Thanks again, everyone. Back to you, Dave.
Thanks, Mark. And a huge thanks to our diamond level sponsors today. G3 Apparel Group, Pfizer, and these other generous organizations, and the Sani family. Their generous contributions will have a profound impact on so many lives that Save the Children's U.S. programs work to support. And a reminder, if you would like to help, you can donate by texting Donate1 to 243-725. Donate 1 to 243-725. It's great to see that our donation button is quite active tonight, so thanks so much. And now it's time to reveal our 2021 All-Star Dad. Here now, trustee of the Sani Family Foundation, Sunil Sani. And Sunil, I understand you received a lot of entries this year.
Thank you, Dave. Our Ashok Sani All-Star Dad Award has been an important part of these events for many years, honoring a father who goes beyond being a responsible caregiver and a loving advisor. The prize was started in 2004 by Stuart Goldblatt and Jimmy Rosenfeld in honor of Ashok Sani, my uncle and mentor. Ashok was a beloved husband to Shalini and father to Suraj and Monish. In 2004, Ashok's sons received the award on his behalf. Ashok had a deep commitment to giving equal recognition to all. His interests in ethics, truth, love, peace, nonviolence, compassion, and moral and social responsibilities live on through his two sons, and of course, the Ashok Sani All-Star Dad Award. This year, both Esquire and Men's Health put out the call and received hundreds of inspiring essays sharing the stories of incredible fathers from every corner of the country. And one essay stood out for our family. Written by a college student just outside of Houston, Texas, Corinne White wrote about her father, ER Dr. Michael White, and his incredible role being a positive light both in his hospital and at home. This month, Corinne helped to surprise her father with the news he was our all-star dad under the ruse that it was an important meeting about a sorority. Let's take a look. Hey, hello Corinne, hello Michael. We asked you to come here for a sorority event, but we're gonna come clean. This is not a sorority meeting. We're actually here as part of the Father of the Year Awards. And we would like to reveal that you, Dr. Michael White, are the 2021 Ashok Sani All-Star Dad. So congratulations.
Oh, thank you. I had no idea. Oh my gosh, look at this. Wow. Oh, jeez.
And you get a pin.
Oh, that's
let me open it
awesome.
for you.
We've received hundreds of essays from people all over the country. Only one really stood out. And that was submitted by your daughter, Corinne, who will share it with you now. So go ahead, Corinne.
All right. I said, let me talk slow. It is not hard to see the impact my dad has had on everyone he meets. His contagious laughter and hardworking spirit resonates not only through my family, but of all the lives he saves daily. My dad is an emergency room doctor who began as a combat medic in our nation's military, deployed weeks after I was born. Since those starting moments of his career, I can't help but be overwhelmed with gratitude that he fought for me and all of the country and continues to fight every day for people's lives at his work. This pandemic has been hard on all of us. Our frontline workers have shown nothing but heroism and bravery, and I believe that my father is the picture of that. Never did he let this worldwide crisis dim his positive light. He told me a story about a little girl who had broken her arm and came into his emergency room. The whole time helping her, he sang little songs to her and did funny faces to make her laugh. See, in what could be such a scary moment for anybody, he brings comfort. He sewed up someone's hand on her kitchen counter before, and that was wild to see. But the whole time,
I can't confirm or deny that.
but the whole time, he's always making them laugh and distracting them off of what's going on. He's taught me how to be strong when my world seems to be collapsing. He's taught me to be a leader, a fighter, and a friend. I remember every time someone I know has come up to me and expressed how cool my dad was, and my only reply can be, "You don't even know the half of it."
Thank you.
Wow.
Love you.
I love you.
Thank you.
Corinne, that was beautiful. And Michael, congratulations for being our 2021 All-Star Dad. What is your reaction to your daughter's letter?
It's beautiful. I had no idea. I mean, I just try to be myself and, make people laugh. It's been a rough year, but it's good to hear this and it's come to an end and it's a lot better now. And I'm proud of Corinne and it's a beautiful essay.
So talk to us about this last year and the challenges of being an ER doctor through COVID and balancing that with being there for your family.
Yeah, I mean, so initially it was pretty difficult because every day there was a new sign or symptom of COVID. I mean, it kind of, anything went. Like, if someone would come in with a dislocated shoulder, you shoot a chest x-ray to look at their shoulder or shoulder x-ray, and you'd catch a part of their lungs and the lungs would look bad. You'd get an x-ray, you'd test them for COVID, and they had COVID. Like, they had no symptoms of it. And some other people were really sick with it. And we kind of had to try to figure that out. At the same time, protect ourselves, protect other people who were there for, other reasons. And then try not to bring it home to my family. I would strip in the garage, and my wife would leave me some clothes out in the garage or something. I'd go right to the shower. Some of my clothes never made it into the house, and then over the year, just got a little easier to take care of people. And now with vaccinations, it's really pretty much disappeared. I haven't seen anybody in a couple of weeks that wasn't already diagnosed, and people are getting better.
You have your whole family there, and your son Brennan and your wife Julie were in on the surprise. Do they usually put one over on you like this? Is this like a common family theme?
He is so hard to fool.
No.
This was like the most challenging thing, because if anything, like, he'll investigate it, and so we really had
I had
to
no
like.
idea.
For all the dads watching, what is one piece of advice you'd like to give about fatherhood?
I would say to give them some freedom and let them explore the world. Give them a leash. Give them let them spread their wings and fly.
This award includes a round trip for all four of you to come to New York City on us. And so so you have something to look forward to, and Brendan and Julie and Corinne as well. Congratulations, and
thank you.
You really are blessed with a wonderful daughter, a wonderful son, and obviously a wonderful wife. So God bless you.
I just like to say I'm so thankful and like privileged to have such a supportive dad and such a supportive family. Especially right now, it's Pride Month, and I'm a member of the LGBT community, and from the second I've told them, they've welcomed me with open arms, and that's not something that every child gets. And so that means so much to me, how much they've shown me nothing but love through everything I've gone through and everything that I felt. And I'm so privileged to have that, and so it's like such an honor to honor him.
I have my
he has a
pride mask from work.
Pride mask, but it means a lot. I'm so privileged to have that.
I just happen to have it in my pocket. That was not planned.
Is there anything you would like to say about being named our 2021 All-Star Dad?
I mean, it's an incredible honor. I just think that I'm just doing what a lot of dads do in this country, and support my family, and just trying to do my best.
And now we turn to another Father of the Year. He's a CEO who's grown Wolverine worldwide from a $700 million a year company to yearly sales of $2.5 billion, hitting almost 200 countries. But more importantly, he's the father of 4, grandfather of 7. Here is Blake Krieger.
My dad, Blake Krieger, he is just such an interesting guy. He has so many passions outside of work, whether it's hunting and fishing, history, archaeology, rock and roll, and specifically rock and roll history.
Rock and roll is his passion. If you ever went on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire and needed a lifeline to rock and roll, call Blake.
He would always quiz us on songs that came up. So he would put on a song, or a song would come onto the radio, and he would ask us who is the band, down to the very finest detail. So that's how we learned a little bit about music and music history. But that game really got fun when he started doing it to our significant others, our boyfriends or girlfriends that we would bring home to meet the family. Growing up, he would always make a point to be at our sports games and practices, no matter how busy he was at work. And he even volunteered to coach a lot of the sports teams.
He prioritized, what he needed to be there for, and if he wasn't there, he made sure he got updates on it and pictures and, a play-by-play from the kids and from myself. He loves to tell stories, and he started years ago making up stories for the kids.
He's very outdoorsy, so a lot of the stories were about wild animals. And one of our favorites was about a family of beavers, called it the Beaver Story. And I think right now he's on beavers number 4 in the series. And I think what's really special now is that he started telling those stories to his grandchildren.
They love their papa. They really do. I mean, I can do everything for them all day long, and the minute he walks in the door, they just run to him. They love him. And the kids, I know, now that they're adults, I think they have a real appreciation for how hard he's worked to get where he's been. They love spending time with him.
One of the biggest lessons that my dad taught us was the importance of hard work, and that there are no shortcuts. So if you want to excel at school, work, sports, or whatever you want to pursue, you have to put in the time and the work to be successful.
We turn now again to Mark Shriver with the 2021 Father of the Year, Blake Krieger.
Welcome, Blake. Congratulations on being named a Father of the Year. Your family talked so much about your love of rock and roll, how you quiz potential dates. What's that about? I mean, you just love rock and roll that much?
When my kids were growing up, I was appalled at their one song download culture. And so they knew nothing about albums. They knew nothing about rock and roll. They didn't know who wrote the songs. They didn't know anything. So I started quizzing my kids growing up when we were traveling on rock and roll, and it kind of stuck with them.
How do you balance that time spent with kids, your kids, with growing, a huge business like Wolverine? I don't think a lot of folks know that you all are up $2.5 billion in revenue. It looks like you have some of your products on the back wall there. How do you balance all of that to be a father of the year, love your commitment to the business world, and your commitment to your kids, and to fun, like your love of obviously rock and roll and other things?
Everybody speaks in terms of a life-work balance. I don't think there's ever a balance. I think it's unbalanced one way or the other. What I found over the years when I was coaching my kids growing up on various sports teams, getting to know their friends, keeping close to them, you had to make a time commitment. You had to schedule the time in advance, set aside, and protect it. And that's what I did. Personally, it seemed to work out pretty good.
Tell me, one of your kids told us about this Blake Krieger beaver story. What's that about?
Well, listen, growing up, I had very smart young children. So when you asked them to pick out a bedtime book, they wouldn't pick out War and Peace, but sometimes it seemed like they picked out something close to War and Peace. So I started working on, my intention was 5-minute stories, and it was the story of a beaver family. So over the years, there's Beavers 1, there's Beavers 2, there's Beavers 3, there's the Dog Boy of Idlewild story, and all these stories are told with appropriate physical interactions with the kids. And I've certainly carried on that tradition with my kids, my grandkids, the kids of all my friends, and it's something they repeat today.
Well, you've definitely made those special for all of us here today. You've made it special with your kids and your grandkids, with fun, with imagination, with humor. Thank you for reminding us about what's really important in life.
Yeah, great. It's a great award. I'm very humbled, very honored, obviously. When you think about this award, it involves children and grandchildren and families, things that are really important. And plus, it gives us an opportunity to raise some funds for Save the Children, a great organization.
Well, thanks again, Blake. Really, really appreciate it.
It's great to be here.
Thank you, Mark and Blake, and thank you to all of you who are continuing to contribute to our campaign and to help save the children. There's still time to donate by texting DONATE1, donate and the number 1, to 243-725. Again, donate 1 to 243-725. And a big thank you as well to our platinum level sponsors, Burlington, Peerless Clothing, PVH Corp, Ralph Lauren, Six Lincoln, the TJX companies, and these other generous organizations. There's a lot more coming up, including a revealing conversation with the man that led Pfizer to turn around a COVID vaccine in record time, and a visit with global country music superstar Brad Paisley like you've never seen before. But first, a special treat. Gathering some of the most talented young voices across the country, we're thrilled to share a special performance just for you here at the Father of the Year Awards. Singing I Learned From You, here's Acapop Kids.
Sometimes I couldn't hear what you tried to tell me. I thought that I knew all I need to know. I didn't understand that the doors you would open could take me somewhere I wanted to go. I can be strong for you now. You taught me how. of my hiding places, and there are no secrets from you I can't keep. You let me know how you feel, pulling no punches, and I never knew that kind of honesty. I'm grateful for all of the times you opened my eyes. I learned from you that I do not crumble. I learned that strength is something you choose. All of the reasons to keep on believing. There's no question, that's a lesson I learned from you. That I do not crumble. I learned that strength is something you choose. All of the reasons to keep on believing. There's no question, that's a lesson I learned from you. I learned from you.
Once again, that's Acapop Kids. Thank you all so much for that great performance. Now we turn to one of the most successful country artists working today. Despite multiple Grammys and 24 #1 hits, our next Father of the Year remains a humble family man with a wry, self-deprecating sense of humor, and now a new mission that's changing thousands of lives. The last year has been tough in so many ways. Brad Paisley has spent a good portion of it doing what he can, keeping the community of country music alive.
Wait, is Brad Paisley on here?
I'm getting out of here if he's not really Brad Paisley.
When he's not surprising fans on Zoom, in the last year, he and his wife Kimberly have been building an incredible project in Nashville called The Store.
Well, when we discovered it, it was because you thought basically that our children needed to realize that there were people in need and that they needed to see, hunger.
On a trip to Santa Barbara, Brad and Kimberly Williams Paisley took their two sons to the Unity Shop, a 100-year-old effort that helps financially struggling people. The Paisleys were inspired and a passion project was born.
As soon as we saw it, it was just like obvious to me that this was a model that needed to happen other places, and more specifically Nashville.
The Paisleys partnered with Brad's alma mater, Belmont University, to open the store, a free referral-based grocery store for people facing food insecurity. Opening the doors just days before the pandemic, the Paisleys expected to serve about 300,000 meals. But with the onset of COVID, the store had to quickly pivot their model, starting a delivery system and curbside program to meet the needs of the community. At last count, an incredible 1.3 million meals have been delivered.
It's a grocery store that's free if you lost your job. And it's meant to preserve the experience of shopping with the dignity of choice. Like, you get to go through and pick out what it is you want to feed your family.
Even the name helps maintain dignity and normalcy. By calling the program The Store, families can still say very simply, "I'm going to the store." And the kids feel that sense that everything is fine. The store's theme is Better Together. Brad's work on stage and off has been proving that every day. So, Brad, we just heard in that video about the store, and I know that opened right before the pandemic. How did you pivot and change and adjust to meet needs that you never even imagined during this time?
Only because we had to, really. I mean, it's the kind of thing where if somebody had thrown out the idea of what we would accomplish in our first year in one of our board meetings, trying to figure out how to launch, we'd all said, that's impossible. We can't do that. There'll be no way to just change our whole thing and also feed that many people. We were supposed to cater to people who were down on their luck. We ended up, there was no litmus test on that. It was literally, how old are you? Are you 85? Do you live in the towers over here? Great. We're going to bring you food. These guys and girls dressed up in their Sunday best and came to the doors of their their apartments and stood in the hallway and gave the delivery folks a standing ovation. You realize at that point that it's these sort of small acts of kindness that add up, but it's hard to process them all, but there's a really good group of people making this thing work. These are good people that we got lucky with a good group of folks.
What'd you learn about parenting through all this? And what have you learned about parenting from being a parent?
Wow. Well, everything I learned about parenting, I learned from my wife, and my own parents included in that. But my wife really, she's the one that sets the rules of the house and I sort of follow them. And so my style of parenting is to make sure her rules are upheld. I'm the vice president of this household. And I'm not a capable vice president.
Do you realize by the time this is done, we're going to be taking this award back?
Yeah. I'm sitting here telling you today, you've made a major mistake.
It looks like Kimberly's going to be honored as Mother of the Year next year.
No doubt about it.
What are you most proud of that you've been able to do as a dad?
Well, I'm the most proud of my time spent with them, the ability to find time in the middle of a very busy life to be a father first, because I really do believe that's first for me. That's above anything, especially this last year. There's nothing like getting the year off from extensive travel to make you just, really sort of focus in on something. And I'm also really proud of my creativity. Anybody that knows me will say I'm always building things for the kids or helping them build something or making, like I paint. I've hand painted their rooms. Like they're like, hey, Dad, can you do what would be neat on the wall is like if you did like a whole jungle and I paint a jungle. And so I think that kind of creativity, I hope they're that way with their kids. I hope that gets passed on, and they will be because they're very creative. But I think that's a vicarious thing they've learned. And so I'm proudest of the creativity with them. I don't ever stop.
You've received all sorts of awards and accolades over time on big stages and small. What does this one mean when it sits on your mantle eventually?
Oh, I'm going to display it prominently and remind my wife and family who they're dealing with. It is going to be used as it's going to be on the resume, like how dare you? Don't you know who I am? No, it means a lot because I do think being a father is its own reward. I had a good dad myself, which helps. I say had. He's just no longer a good dad. He's a great grandfather now. He's not a great grandfather, not yet, but he is a great role model. And I hope to have kids that want to be that kind of dad. Like there's no greater compliment than to have your kids say, I hope I'm the kind of dad you are, in that sense. And I think I'm proudest of the fact that so far we all like each other too. Like I've got one that's just now a teenager basically. So it's like, we'll see how long that lasts. We may go through that period where he doesn't think I'm quite as smart as he did for a while, but I'm learning as I go. But again, I this award means a lot just because I do probably put this as number one on the priority list.
Hey, I got to ask you one more question. If you know any dad jokes.
According to my kids, it's all I do, or dad jokes.
Try me.
It's the way I see dad jokes. It's sort of like the, duck goes in a bar, orders a drink. Got any money? No, just put it on my bill.
Okay. Joke, all right. We're done.
Sorry.
We're done. That was the kind of joke that makes your own children cringe.
Yeah. And gets you an award like this.
Without a doubt. Thanks, Brad. And we are thrilled that the trophy you're going to get is going to give you a couple of extra points with the boys. It's a win-win. Now, over the last year, in the midst of possibly the worst global health crisis in a century, a breakthrough in science enabled all of us to see through to the other side. Since the COVID-19 pandemic began, thousands of people at Pfizer have been working long hours to help create a safe and effective vaccine. Their efforts came to fruition shockingly fast, creating that safe and effective vaccine quicker than any other vaccine in the history of science, and saving millions, potentially hundreds of millions of lives. All of this under the leadership of Dr. Albert Bourla, who accepts this special Father of the Year honor on behalf of all the Pfizer employees and their incredible efforts through this crisis. Here now with Dr. Bourla, our producer, John Palacio.
Thank you, Dave. I am pleased to be here with Dr. Albert Bourla, Chairman and CEO of Pfizer. Dr. Bourla, congratulations and welcome.
Thank you very, very much, John.
So this year obviously has been incredibly challenging for everyone. Can you tell me about what your team has had to balance in this last year?
No, thank you. And it was an unimaginable pain for a lot of families. And us in Pfizer, because of the vaccine, we received thousands of letters maybe. Myself personally, I received from those that they could find my email or they emailed to me stories of gratitude just because the grandkids were able to visit the grandparents just after the grandparents got vaccinated. And you can only feel the impact that you have in humans' lives only when you read these letters. This very simple hug that I was able to give to my grandkids was for me the most important thing in the world. And then I had to send a letter to. And our family had the same. Myself, we couldn't, and we haven't seen my father and mother-in-law, for example, for a long time. And the kids are living with us, which, by the way, is not very nice for them. It's wonderful for me because I have them next to me. Yeah. For Pfizer families, it was, first of all, the same exactly like everyone else. But they had, in addition to the challenges that everybody was facing, the challenge that a lot of them, they had to go to work. Some of them, they wouldn't see their families for months because their work required that they stay away in research sites, trying to figure out how can we resolve this vaccine. But on the other hand, the pain of everybody else was giving them strength.
I remember at the beginning of COVID, there was so much uncertainty, and yet all your people were going in every day. It's that much more courageous, right, with all that fear that was happening. So what kind of things were you able, and the Pfizer team, able to do to support these amazing frontline workers who are working on a vaccine throughout this time?
I think what was the most important of all was that we kept very constant information dialogue with them. So I would reach out to the organization, informing them about what we are doing both in protecting ourselves, but also in developing solutions for the world. So people will tune in to listen to me as I was talking to them. And I think that was a comfort for them.
Sure. I would imagine when you learned of the vaccine's efficacy, what kind of joy did you feel?
Well, it's unimaginable. I learned a Sunday evening, and it was a very small group of people that they could learn. That was one of the most material information in the world at that time, that there is a vaccine 95% efficacy. I remember that I asked our legal counsel, can I call my son? And that was because during the whole process, working from home and himself working in a room next to me from home, he would join me in almost all the most important meetings about COVID. And he became kind of my companion and my advisor. He's 20 years old, but I felt immediately the need to tell him because he was part of all of that. The joy was it was a relief because I could only imagine what that means for the world if the results were negative. And it was clearly for me a sign of liberation for the world.
So any stories of joy from the Pfizer colleagues, Pfizer team, about the day that the vaccine actually was approved?
Well, you know, I mean, they were feeling exactly the same. Once we told the world, we told, of course, the Pfizer colleagues, and that was on Monday, the day after. And the pride that they felt, the fact that each one of Pfizer people became a celebrity almost, because wherever they were presented themselves, they were welcomed with a sense of gratefulness, expressing to them how grateful they are for this company. This is something that you can't pay and you feel very rarely.
So one of the things we're doing with this year's Father of the Year Awards, in times of stress, dads have a great ability to say a really bad pun or a really horrible joke in the best time to alleviate some of the tension. Do you have a dad joke to share with us?
Well, my favorite one it is, given that we are in a pharmaceutical company, I'm asking, what is the best medicine if a lemon gets sick?
What is it?
And then they don't know, and then I will tell them, lemonade. Lemonade.
Perfect.
And then they think that I'm terrible.
Well, congratulations to you and the entire Pfizer team. We are giving this honor to you and your entire incredible team that has saved so many lives this year. Is there anything you want to say about this honor?
I have seen firsthand the sacrifices that they have made over the past year, all of them. And it has left me humbled and grateful to work with such courageous, purpose-driven and joyful people.
Thank you, Dr. Borla. We are very appreciative to honor you and all of the Pfizer team.
Thank you, John.
A big thank you and congratulations to Dr. Albert Borla and the entire Pfizer team. I should note, by the way, I tried to tell a vaccine joke on an award show once, but it was all in vain. I hear crickets. No? Maybe Acapop kids can do better. Let's see.
Hey, Sid.
Hi, Dad.
You know what's brown and sticky? A stick.
When is the best time to go to the dentist?
When is the best time to go to a dentist? I don't know. My
Tooth hurty.
tooth hurty? I don't get it.
Get it? Tooth hurty? Tooth hurty?
Oh! Tooth hurty! Dad, can you put my shoes on?
No, I don't think they'll fit me. Where do boats go when they're sick?
I don't know. Where?
To the boat dock.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Sid. Guess what my clothes did today? They had a competition to see who was the coolest. It ended up being a tie.
That makes no sense.
Hey, Neeraj.
Hey, I'll call you later.
No, just call me Dad.
Oh boy, getting too old. Tied these laces. Should have got the Velcro sneakers. But I thought they were a ripoff.
How does a penguin build its house?
I don't know. How?
It glues it together. Igloo.
How do you make a Kleenex dance?
A Kleenex dance. I don't know. Ow.
Put a little boogie in it.
I get booger.
Thanks again to Acapop Kids, and thank you to all of the fathers we celebrated today. What great examples you set for all of us. Finally, thank you to all of you who contributed today. With your help, we have raised considerable funds to help children in our country who are still struggling for the basic necessities. And remember, you can still donate by texting DONATE1 to 243725. I'm NBC4 New York's Dave Price. Thank you for watching the 2021 Father of the Year Awards. And the next time your dad tells a corny joke, do him a favor. Fake that laugh just a little bit harder. Good night.
So what do you call a fake noodle? An impasta!
Here, boy. Gee, I spilled some spot remover last week and haven't seen my dog ever since.
I would tell you a pizza joke, but it's just too cheesy.
You know how I like a good deal. I saw this ad, TV for sale, $1. Volume stuck all the way up. I'm like, I can't turn that down.
Of all the inventions over the last 100 years, the dry erase board must be the most remarkable.
What did one snowman say to the other snowman? He said, "You smell carrots?"
So here's another. As a weatherman, I win an award every year. It's a precipitation award. Thank you. Thank you. Please, please. Thank you.